It is quiet here, brother. Too quiet for my tastes. Something feels wrong. Shh! There! Movement in the tree line. An ambush is imminent. We must be ready. If we cross the river, we could escape through the southern gates. Or we could attempt to survive the ambush through force of arms. This hill would make a good defensive position en route, should more forces arrive. Prepare for battle, brother, and may your blade strike true!
The day has finally arrived, and we can bask in the cool glow of the moon and the glorious warmth of flaming trees and vicious combat on the nighttime battlefields of Total War 3 Kingdoms. I'm looking forward to this day for a very long time, and I had the opportunity to fly out to San Francisco last weekend and get hands-on experience with the newest entry in one of the longest-running strategy game series on the planet. To set the stage, this battle takes place in the wake of Dong Zhuo's tyranny, a brutal and corrupt tyrant who kicked off an infamous civil war for control of 2nd century China. The warlords of Wei, Wu, and Shu Han formed a coalition to put an end to his rule, but each had inspirations of their own, and the cunning Cao Cao devises a plan to eliminate the heirs of Zhendong by ambushing them on their route home. And that is where we find ourselves now, fighting for our very lives as the trap is sprung, and Meng De betraying the world before the world had a chance to betray him. At the helm of our armies are Sun Quan, the great emperor of Wu, and the famous Lady Sun, brother and sister and progeny of the Tiger of Zhendong. Sun Quan is a commander, filling the role of a support leader who buffs allies in an AoE, and his Stone Bulwark ability grants 100% missile block chance and a huge morale boost for holding the line, while Unyielding Earth nullifies enemy charge bonuses, granting 100% melee block chance and another massive buff to leadership. So while he prefers to sit comfy in the middle of his army, away from the front lines and powerful duelists, Lady Sun is a vanguard, a hybrid melee combatant who can't necessarily go toe-to-toe with champion master duelists, and believe me, I learned that the hard way.
I cannot beat their strength! Perhaps the trees...
Oh, Comrade Bolt! Hold the line!
But she will absolutely shish kebab squishy nerds like commanders and strategists, and she has some really useful abilities that help her carve through stuff. Heartseeker is a bow attack used to snipe enemy lords, which in its current form can one-shot low-level strategists, which is incredibly satisfying. And Flames of the Phoenix is an AoE ground stomp, which can help turn the tide in a duel with some additional burst damage or slaughter groups of clumped up enemies. And there's also some awesome synergy between the two characters. Heroes that have familial ties will often get buffs for fighting alongside each other. Think Vlad and Isabella from Warhammer, and these can end up being really substantial. In the case of these two, armor and morale get bumped quite a bit for simply being on the same battlefield together, and even better, if one of them falls, the red mist descends, and the other will literally go berserk, doubling their melee damage output and increasing their defensive capabilities. Now, I'm not going to share my in-depth impressions quite yet. I'm going to save that for another video where I don't have so much info to drop on your heads, but I do want to make a couple quick observations. You probably noticed it in the intro to this video, but Three Kingdoms is gorgeous. It is without a doubt one of the things that has me most excited. How beautiful it looks and how well it runs. Now, obviously, I expected good performance from a custom-built PC, literally designed to run Total War games, but there's usually a long way to go in terms of visuals as far from release. I know that from first-hand experience, because at the Battle of the Fallen Gates at E3 2017, there was some really bad artifacting and texture quality on some of the terrain, and that stuff got ironed out by release in September. But Three Kingdoms is already looking stunning. The lighting is incredible, and the moon, torches, and environmental hazards all combine to make for some of the best visuals I've seen in a strategy game, period. And I'm saying that like 8 months before release. It is going to be beautiful. And I also want to say, if the rest of the OST is going to be as good as the announcement trailer and the battle track they had playing during the ambush, it may go down as the best soundtrack in Total War's history. And that is not an exaggeration. It is so good and immediately immersed me in the setting, and that's really important. But with that said, obviously some of the animations need a lot of work, and there's some sliding, janky collision, and other things I'll discuss in detail in my impressions video. But just remember, the game isn't coming out until 2019, so still a while to go yet. For now, let us shift our attention to stuff I learned from the CA devs regarding gameplay mechanics, campaign, and battlefield strategy. For one, there will be a day-night cycle on the campaign map, the first in Total War's history. The art direction for this game is going to be heavily focused on dramatic Chinese landscapes, which you've probably seen from the campaign flyover, and illuminating that terrain with dynamic lighting sources, and it shows. Nighttime combat has never looked better, and those moonwashed landscapes should carry over to the campaign map very nicely as well. This is a time when the future of China is shaped by its champions, and if I took anything away from the event in California, it's that characters and heroes have a huge impact on every level of your decision making and strategic choices. We already knew this would be true on the battlefields of romance mode, where heroes like Lu Bu will mulch through the 100 guys stupid enough to actually pursue without any trouble whatsoever. But this will be true on the strategic map as well, and a lot of what I learned has me really excited. And maybe a little bit hesitant too, because no matter what gets said or how carefully designed a mechanic is, it doesn't always actually translate to real gameplay. But for one, personalities will drive characters. If a certain warlord values strength and brutality, choosing to let them live after capturing them will actually make them hate you more. But someone who values honor and martial prowess may even defect to your side if you capture them enough times and allow them to leave unharmed and build up that relationship. And building up these interpersonal relationships seems to be a major focus of Three Kingdoms campaign, where rivalries will form even within a faction, and there will be many more options in manipulating enemy agents and warlords on the campaign map. And perhaps one of the most exciting additions is the spy system. Both players and the AI will be able to plant spies in an enemy court that relay them information on troop movements and give you vision of certain cities. The longer these spies are embedded within an enemy faction, the more they can do for you as they gain the trust of those around them. And apparently, you can actually play the hardcore long game with a spy and not reveal your hand for 30 or 40 years in-game, getting to a point where they're a high-ranking official with huge influence over what a rival faction does. Bringing enemy generals to your side, splintering a faction from within, getting them to declare war on your enemies, and generally causing a bunch of havoc sounds like a grand old time and perfect for the setting, and these things are actually possible to do in-game. If a spy gets discovered, players have the choice to execute them, release them, or force their hand into becoming a double or even a triple agent, which sounds utterly bananas, and it is, if it actually works in practice. And that's kind of the big if that hopefully we'll get to see closer to launch. And in terms of battlefield stuff, formations seem to be playing a much bigger role than they have in some other Total War games, but functionality ultimately trumps form. And it doesn't matter how pretty your half-moon tiger style formation is, if it doesn't actually kill stuff better than forming up in a standard block. On paper, some of the formations seem really good. Hybrid units can actually create mixed formations with ranged attackers in the back and spear points in front. They give me a lot of hope for Spanish tercios and pike and shot whenever CA decides to tackle that period. And spear walls give 900% charge resistance, massively increasing their sturdiness and ability to receive a charge. I didn't get a great picture of whether these formations will ultimately be worth using, but at least on paper, it seems like they'll have a much larger impact than they have in the past. And if a lord dies, he is dead. They are not legendary, so even in romance mode, if you kill Lu Bu, he is gone forever. There's no coming back, which is awesome in some ways, because it means your choices and your results on the battlefield matter more, but nobody wants to see all the iconic characters get killed off by random AI nobodies before you ever get a chance to fight them. And that has been a problem in past Total War games, so I'm hoping that won't be too much of an issue here. In a game that's so very clearly focusing on characters and how heavy an impact they can have on your campaign and empire building, it would be a massive shame to have them die in droves before you ever actually get to see them. And as you might have heard from the intro, ambush battles actually have an extraction point now, so if you're in a really bad situation, you get ambushed on the campaign map, you can actually run important units through the gauntlet and escape, and whichever units make it will actually buy themselves some extra space on the strategic map without being wiped out. This battle was actually really hard. I don't think anyone from my group of content creators actually won it on the first try. I ended up decimating the enemy army, but I spit roasted my own as well, and had to beat feet off the map with only my characters in tow, so Sun Quan and Sun Ren, or Lady Sun, managed to make it off the map, but besides that, the rest of my units were all just completely butchered to a man, which made me kind of sad, but this was not unnormal. There were two difficulties to choose from. Normal was very easy, very easily managed, but a lot of us decided to do hard first because they said it was a lot more difficult, and they were right. It was. Even as a very experienced Total War player and a multiplayer guy, it was not very easy, and I ended up losing on my first attempt. But it was a super fun battle, with its fair share of problems, but overall, a great experience and something that's definitely raised my levels of hype for Total War 3 Kingdoms. Lots more content on the way. Hope you guys enjoyed this look, and be sure to join me again as we discuss my full impressions and take a look at the campaign map and unit stats themselves. I will see you all there, and enjoy Battle of the Fallen Gates 2, Chinese Boogaloo. There are probably like 50 people who just did the same video, but if you chose me, you made the right call, and if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like. I will see you all in the next one. Any Pride, signing out for now. Have a good one, guys.
Battle ready! Our warriors run! Craven dogs!